and I will start.
It started. That's actually Twitch, not YouTube, but yeah.
Sure. Starting now.
It's a new season, and our knowledge and resources have improved. New Eden has opened a new era in time. The universe is enslaved by the use of lasers and bots. In the history of Eve Echoes, young rebels claim they're heroes. Your hosts are legends who've been playing Eve Echoes since the beginning. Although they have outlived alliances, they are no Care Bear. Presenting you their form of communication. Welcome to the Echoes of New Eden podcast. Show starts now.
And welcome everybody to Echoes of New Eden podcast Season 5. We are finally starting Season 5, almost 3 weeks into January. I'm glad to be back, and it's nice to see everybody in the audience and my fellow co-hosts. My co-hosts for you guys today are Taylor Rick and Damon Zell. What's going on, guys?
Hey. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been so long.
It's been a number of weeks.
Yeah.
Something like 6 weeks.
It's been so long I forget how to spell echoes. So.
Yes, that's very true. I don't think you started up your computer. It took you a while to set up this evening.
Well, I ran down here to get ready for the show. I've been drinking a little bit.
You probably haven't turned your
playoff game. Yeah, I mean, I had to reboot. All the emulators were up and running. I'd left my orc out in a belt. So for like 3 hours, no one noticed.
Very nice.
At least I didn't live stream it this
Damon
time.
Zell, welcome. Right.
Yep.
Damon Zell, it's nice to see you as well.
Yes, the king of no news.
The king of no news. Well, that's what's going to be great about Season 5 is we're going to bring you all the news before Damon does, and then he's just going to have to go and report what he finds out from here.
Right.
I actually might have a story that you guys don't have tonight.
Well, I hope so.
Which I found out the other day. Well, I'm like I said, I'm like, here's the game, here's me, and we just keep kind of fading further and further apart a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm still on the hunt for anyone that wants to join the Echoes of the Front team to help do news, stuff like that to get up on the channel.
Okay.
So you someone to be the new face of Echoes from the Front, Echoes from the Back, Echoes from last year. Something like that.
Echoes from 6 weeks ago. That's why it's an echo.
Yes.
It's not the initial news. It's just an echo of the news. It comes after the fact.
Right.
Kind of like
it's basically everything that's in our staff chat.
To Chiga.
Yeah. Everything that's in our staff chat ends up on Damon's video. But I hope you guys are having a good year.
Well, Damon, we've got news tonight that you don't have. Nobody has this. Actually, it's probably everybody probably already knows because Jota doesn't know how to keep a fucking secret.
That's why you guys have
Yeah, right.
He just says whatever in live fleet chats. It's you ever want to know anything about what's going on inside of Silent? Just get into one of our fleets and just listen to Jonah. He'll tell you everything.
I don't even know.
What's that?
Apparently, we're supposed to bring our sexy lingerie, according to Pubstar, but
I didn't know.
I don't know. I didn't get that memo.
I didn't get that.
I decided to wear my Rambo shirt.
Yeah. That's right, Patrick.
All right, guys. Well, should we talk about Eve Echoes? I mean, it is kind of the game that we play.
Yeah,
so
we probably should.
We'll cover all the latest when it comes to that. Well, I mean, I play other games too. I mean, Damon, I don't think I've seen you in space in probably 4 months. So.
No, I've been in space. I moved something from Taylor's Citadel to our Citadel.
Okay, 6 jumps.
That was pretty much it. Yeah, no. Oh, no, and I made
Give or
a
take.
Jita run. And I made a Jita run.
Okay. Yeah, so another year, right? Season 5. We're going into the next year for Eve Echoes 2024. And I'm excited to see what's going to be coming up as far as future content and updates that we'll be seeing in this next year. So, heck, we already got some info for you guys tonight that Taylor's going to break to us amongst some other updates and announcements that that game devs have thoughtfully provided us.
Yep, very much so.
You know, we'll go over all the latest game news, and then we will go over consider your suggestion. I still have that segment in the show for season 5, and one thing that I did change for season 5 is I am no longer going to play commercials in the middle of the show. I know I guess it could have been like an opportunity to get a laugh, some conversation, all that type of stuff. But at the same time, just me and Taylor just sit here and we just twiddle our thumbs and watch the chat anyway. So, you know, it was meant to be like a water break or whatever else, right? I
was totally expecting that one commercial that you have every time in this year to be like 10 minutes long now.
You know, that could still happen.
Cal Scars. Got to bring back Cal Scars.
Cal Scars, yeah.
Yeah, got to have Cal.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
I got to get him back to the game.
Be, I got to see all reds in the decibel level here. It's got to be way over hot mic'd and muffled and staticky.
But I do have new sound effects.
Yeah, he's got
to be. Alert AOA. Alert AOA.
I got a bunch of new sound effects.
Oh, we got to tell everybody the story behind that too, because people don't. I'm gonna imagine that probably half the audience isn't gonna understand where the alert AOA comes from. They're not.
It's only been the best meme to come out of Eve Echoes this year. So
far, this year in the first 21 days, yeah. So we're down south. Silent's got a fleet down south in void space, as we do every single day. There's fleets every day down there of some kind. Pew. Yep, even doing some sneaky pew pew.
Pochi.
And yeah, exactly. I wouldn't mind poaching a few players from. Anyway, so there's a few decent players down there, so I wouldn't mind poaching them. Anyway, Big is recruiting in 2024. Anyway, so
wow.
What you're saying is they're getting bigger?
Oh yeah, we're huge. Anyway, so Big, probably the biggest corp with the in terms of one number of players in one corp in the game right now. Anyway, so no, we're down there and we're shooting them, and we get a couple of pauses into hole. I think we blow up a bunch of them too during like a 3-hour period or whatever, and we catch somebody in the local chat, just local chat. Someone says, okay, they got this one to hole, timers next week, and the very next line from somebody from Void says alert AOA. As in, call our defensive guys because we're not going to be able to defend it. So that's where the alert AOA comes from. It's hilarious. Yep, get on the bat phone.
And there's been all sorts of like little emojis and sound effect, all that. You know, it's
great.
It's pretty funny. So shall we get to the Eve Echoes official announcements? And how far back should we go?
I mean, the
last announcement that they have.
There really isn't much when it comes to that.
There isn't much.
And there's no dev Q&As anymore.
Their last announcement. Yeah, what happened with that? I mean, I'm not going to complain, but granted, they were so far back and the questions sucked anyway. I'm like,
I think they just
we could kind of do without anyway.
I think they just gave up on it. So, don't you think, Damon, they just kind of walked away from it at this point?
Yeah, they're kind of pretty much on autopilot. The last dev Q&A was October.
Yeah.
It was published in December.
Right.
But it was 10/24 through 10/30.
Yep. So, Maybe they made a decision
Yeah.
that come November 1st they would no longer do them, and they wanted to get through them until that time, and then that was it. Maybe that was their decision. I don't know.
Yeah, not entirely sure.
That,
Though,
the devs have had radio silence, even the community manager, for the last, I would say, couple weeks. Really, we haven't really heard much of anything. Because I know we had several calls out to see if we were going to do another of those Skype or Zoom calls with the devs like we did last year.
Yeah.
Whereas a bunch of the
Mhm.
CCs could do that, and never heard anything back from that.
right.
Yeah, I doubt we
if
get
I go
that.
back to my messages.
I doubt we get that before the Chinese New Year, if even after the Chinese New Year at this point. Sorry, I got something stuck in my left eye. It's probably beer from getting excited when the Chiefs won.
Jeez.
Like your finger.
So
Something.
the last message I got from Cartley was on December 11th. I was asking about, would it be possible to do a Skype call with the game team like we did last year? And he says, it is possible. I am considering it, but because many game designers are not proficient in English communication, possibly only 1 to 3 people, the effect may still rely on real-time translation and interpretation. Like, okay, that is perfectly fine because that's what happened last year. So, and then never heard anything back. I did message Cartley about some other things, some other concerns of mine. Mainly being the inscription of the Galaxy rewards, where I have been bugging Arrow for the last 3 months and get our Corp rewards from last May in the inscription of the Galaxy Conquest. So, yeah, it's pretty dumb. I know you're laughing, but look, when you give up on spelling. And Dara's has already got a meme.
Yeah, he's so
Taylor
fast on those memes.
There, so. Yeah, he's got image flip on. He's got it up.
Yep.
He's just waiting to take screenshots.
He's waiting. Yep.
To give Taylor a hard time.
That's his job in life, is to give me a hard time, I feel like.
Like we were saying, there isn't really much for announcements. Their last announcement was literally last year on December 28th. They're talking about this surprise gift box. Did anybody do that? I didn't do that.
You're cutting in and out,
It was
Rambo.
on their website.
I don't know if
I
that's
just
something
didn't
on.
bother.
Yeah, we're getting a lag here. I don't know if whose side it's on. I've got a perfect running connection on my end.
Let me text my wife. Let me text my wife. She's probably crashing my internet.
Yeah.
Let me text her. She's crashing my internet right now. I see
your video's not even sharp like it normally is.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so it's not only just me.
So, yeah. I have a feeling that my internet is taking a crap right now.
Oh, okay,
so,
well, it's different for
bear
different
with
people.
me.
Maybe it is my side. I don't know. I just did a hard restart beforehand, so.
But yeah, you're all choppy for me. So I also see my connection dropping, going from green to red. So
I've got all greens, full speed.
it could be.
It could be both of us. And Damon's just sitting there, so I can't really tell.
So we did.
I'm good.
We
I see. I don't.
we
get
did
from
get
Taylor's
a
side, but
happy
I mean,
Christmas.
from Rambo's side, but I do see Taylor choppy every now and then.
Weird.
The show must go on.
Yeah, we'll keep going. The recording will be fine on my
Steve.
end, other than you guys being choppy.
Uh,
Yeah. Reset
Yeah.
your modem. Put a quarter into the slot.
No, it takes at least minutes for mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
I'm hardwired in Turkish.
Continue on.
I mean, I'd like for us to continue
I
on,
can't
but
even
I'm
talk
only
because that you
well, yeah, because you're delayed, you're lagged. I can't tell when you're talking versus. I mean, that's how bad it is. This is the roughest show opening ever. We are 14, 15 minutes in, and we can't even hear each other.
stop watching the video. Just Yeah, I don't know. I'm with my is taking a trash right now, so I got a red connection.
Gotcha.
I'm green again. So I don't know. You think that we have it since been doing this for long, but not yet. So we're just gonna work. Let me video off. Let me turn that off. I don't know if it's going to matter but yeah.
Yeah, we're losing you. We are definitely losing you. How's it still sound on my end? Because on my end it looks like it's smooth, but I don't know.
AOA.
Now we're getting choppy soundboard stuff from Rambo. God. Okay, so to finish what Rambo was saying,
right, Taylor, continue on.
Yeah, to finish what Rambo was saying, we don't have a whole lot of updates from the developers directly. We did have the stuff going on middle of, obviously we had the Kalavala expansion that came out between the last show and now. That came out during the Christmas break that we had before we started up on Season 5. That expanse, or addition to the game, turned out to be nothing like what we initially anticipated months back when we saw what they did on the Chinese server. So I have a feeling that some of the reason we've been just quiet on the dev. Now, don't get me wrong, it's been quiet on the dev front, community facing, and it's been a little quiet. It's definitely been quiet in the CC chat for us. But I've had conversations with Cartley. I've had conversations with Cloud. And there's a lot of things happening with the game and updates and everything on the back end that maybe isn't what's normally seen by every player every day, right? So from my standpoint, it doesn't feel like it's been really that quiet. It's been a little slower because of obviously Christmas break and everything else here U.S. side. But expansion-wise, development-wise, updates, changes, patches, all that kind of stuff seems to be fairly normal to me anyway, from my view, from the developer side and the game side. So Kalavala Expanse ended up being a totally different thing than what we thought it was going to be, which is great. I think the way they've done it right now is fantastic. That's a very interesting mix of small, mediums, and larges. How you're getting in, how you're getting out is very difficult. I've had stories of guys getting stuck in there for a while, having to kill themselves to get out or just die or whatever. And, of course, the cargo thing where you can't take in the correct needle jack you need to get out. You have to get it while you're in there. Also adds a different level of gameplay. How many guys listening right now in our live audience have been into the Kalavala Expanse, and what are your guys' thoughts on it? Go ahead and type that up in the on-air chat. We'll see that as we go and I talk about it. But that was one of the major updates right before the end of the year. I have not gone in there a single solitary time. I keep telling myself I'm going to, and I'm going to do something with it. But I just haven't had time. For me, in the way that I'm playing the game right now and the different things that I'm involved in, there's too much content. I wish they would slow down just a little bit because there's a shit ton of stuff to do. There's just a lot to do, and it just never ends. So, anyway. That's my take on it. I like the functionality of it. I like the way they've rolled that part of it out. I just need to get some time into it.
But Taylor, the devs have given up on the game.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. As we'll see today, we've got a surprise for you. That's this information that was leaked to me, not from the developers, but from our community at large. I won't say where I got the info from, but it didn't come from the devs. So there's that. And I think some of the things they're trying to do...
I haven't been.
Go ahead. I heard you say
I was going to say I haven't been to the new region.
Yeah. Damon, have you been out there yet?
Am I still breaking up?
No. I was actually kind of looking forward to seeing if they were going to go forward with that whole ship collector side game type thing.
Right.
I really just kind of like this would be funny, at least to make fun of, but they pulled a fast one on us.
Yeah.
No, I have not been in there. I have only been in the Cobalt region just a handful of times when that came out too. I kind of like just lost its flavor for me as well.
Now, I've been out there a few times out of necessity. There's things you've got to get from there, and we'll talk a little bit about that today too. But there are things you've got to you've got to get from that space that you just can't get anywhere else. So, and you can get it from Kalavala as well, but I feel like that's way harder. Cobalt's, yeah, exactly. Just some fleet fights and things like that, Bradrick. Obviously, you could put Sov down in Cobalt Edge. You put outposts down, so that seems to be a little bit more appealing in my mind, to be able to make it a base of operations than it is with the Kalavala Expanse. Although, I mean, going with cruisers or going with frigates or going with battleships, and then you kind of picking your poison. Although I know there's some groups that are kind of ganking that a little bit, where it's only 4, right? You're only supposed to take in a fleet of 4 with you. But they'll be in comms, and they'll have this fleet of 4, this fleet of 4, this fleet of 4. They'll get in there, and then boom, they all find each other, join up together, and now they're able to rip you apart. That's fine. That's part of the mechanic. Play with your friends, all good. But that makes that a little bit more difficult to counter if you're not able to get groups together like that. So that is one thing that came out, obviously. The other thing was this more of the, like you were saying, Rambo, the surprise gift box. I didn't do that. It's part of that Magic Bind thing. And I think one of the things that, since they got rid of the dev Q&A and they're starting to use more of the Magic Bot, Magic Bind, and all that kind of stuff, maybe they'll bring around some things more on the Discord server in order to get better engagement like they want. They want to drive that engagement back up where it used to be in the early days of the game. By doing things like that there. So I kind of hope that's the future of that side of it. And I'm fine with no dev Q&A.
I think they have to find another way other than around the anniversary time to entice new players to come over into the game, because we do, I know, I'm not sure if you guys seen it, but I've seen it, kind of like a passing of the torch where a lot of premier figures that have been in this game since the beginning have kind of started taking steps back away from the game, and
Yep.
So I think they just need to find more ways of bringing new blood into the game to keep things going and keep things fresh.
Yeah, I definitely feel that and see that, and I would agree with that as well. I've heard that talk before about long-standing players, high-level players, high up in alliances and that kind of thing, leaving the game and because of the stuff that NetEase is doing and yada yada yada, this, that, and the other, and it's going to shit, and what are we gonna do? Like, I feel like I've heard all that before.
To be honest, I think it's more of I don't think it's so much of the things that NetEase is doing, because a lot of the faces that I know, I think they're more just kind of a little burnt out right now.
Exactly.
So they're just taking a step back.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't think it's anything on the development side, because as you said before, there is content for days coming in,
Yeah.
but it's just, I think just people are just kind of getting burnt out of the game itself.
It's content, but some of it is kind of like the same drumbeat of content, right? Ratting is ratting. I mean, you add some extra little flavor into it when you don't see anybody in local, and it's they're tankier rats like Cobalt Edge, right? Because it's more armor based, so your lasers don't really help you out too much, or as much as they should or do in regular space. The mechanics of getting in and out make that a little edgier, but it's still ratting, right? And there's still mining, and there's still all those same things. And the encounters are boring. It's just running a purple and you're done, whatever. And I think that the AI ratting actually makes that worse, because now you've done that thing and you've made money, and you're sitting there thinking to yourself after 3 years of playing this game, what do I do with this, right? What do I do with it?
I think the Golden Core was a good thing. I think the AI aspect of it had to go, because I like. I know Broderick likes it. He's a fan of it as well. Of the merging your old nanocores together to basically elevate them to get something new. But again, I think the whole thing is like, we can't beat the botters, so we might as well make some money off it by legitimizing our own bots in the form of the AI core.
Yep.
That's why I think they need to bring in stuff like, bring in incursions, bring in, like, maybe release the Jean Yun faction, which, you first advertised this game on back in alpha and beta. But we've only seen 3 ships ever of them, so.
Right. I feel like they're on the right track, though. When you look at, I mean, how long did people talk about and get upset about more small ship content. How long did we hear people talk about that, and then them not deliver it?
How many videos has Benzie made on
Exactly.
wanting small
Right.
content?
I want to say maybe after about 8 months into the game, from that point until now, we've heard people complain about that. And now we have so much of that. Because that's what a Kalavala small is. Cobalt is that. Exploration is really that anymore, because an exploration player can make 30 bill a week if they just do that. You can be a T6 player with a magnet covops. Or I guess it's T7 for those for the scanners, right? I guess it's T7.
Yeah, T7.
T7's not that bad. So
No, I think you can still get to T7 within what, 3? It's between 3 and 6 months you can get to T7.
oh, it's
Right?
fast. It's super fast. So I mean, if you really grind, you can go nuts on it. So you don't have to go that crazy with it, but really exploration at this point is a big time moneymaker. Big time moneymaker. And stealing from Sarah and HiSec is a big time moneymaker as well. I know you complained about that, Sarah. Well, yeah, of course, Bradrick. I mean, if you're playing 4 or 5 hours a day, that's what I'm talking about. Like extreme, like ratting nonstop. It's not an AI thing where it's done for you automatically. You've got to go. And that can get, you can burn yourself out doing that. I don't recommend anybody do that. None at that level.
I will say that I do miss that about when I was working overnights, right? For those I was working overnight since the game launched. So for those whole 3 years, I was just overnight until I got this new job, and that's why I had so much playtime in there. But as soon as I went to actual, real people, not gonna say real people job, but real person hours, normal person hours, the playtime plummeted. Like I can't really get anything going. Like when I have
Yeah.
time to play the game, I actually can't sit down for 5 hours to play. I can maybe sit down for maybe like with this job, maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes at a time, to see if there's anything going on.
Yep. Yeah, it's the game came out at a perfect time for people to be able to put a lot of time into it. COVID, that kind of thing. Everybody working from home for a while. And that's all changed. I mean, everybody's back in the offices. Everybody's back on the road traveling, this, that, or the other. Games changed. People changed. That kind of stuff. And it's a global thing, too, for all of that. So I feel that. I feel that myself, even though I'm still doing the same job I've been doing the whole time, and I've been traveling nonstop the whole time. But I do notice it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I've got perfect connection, and I'm not seeing any issues other than Rambo.
Yeah, well, I've seen good connection now since I cut my video out, but like I still have you guys are lagging out big time, so it's just frame by frame type thing. So
Do you want
I
me
don't
to
know, maybe
turn my
it's
video
Discord.
off? See if that helps out.
It could just be Discord tonight. Could be causing us some of the major issues, honestly, because I have no.
Yeah,
We could turn the videos
video.
off.
I'll show my video down. Let's see if that. Yeah, let's see if that frees up a little bit of the bandwidth.
Right, yeah. Something with Discord.
Could be.
So
Could
Is,
be.
is,
Yeah.
is the server? Did the server lose its boosting?
Oh
I don't think it really ever had that many boosts.
no, I don't think it did.
And I don't think
it
that
did.
really matters.
No, I mean I'm still showing my video at the local, but I'm not doing it through the deal. So I mean I don't know. It's all showing. I've got no
Yeah,
drop
no worries.
frames, no
I
nothing.
agree.
But we'll keep going. Okay, so
I got a freeze frame with Taylor.
oh, I'm getting a text from the kids. I'm being loud. It's a school night.
You're being too loud.
Yeah, it is 9:30 here. I'm a loud guy.
All right.
All right, moving on.
Moving on. We got patch notes.
Do
We
we
got
do
patch
patch
notes
We have
that,
we have patch notes.
It's not very.
Yeah, we had
I mean,
patch
it's
notes.
not very big. I actually looked at the patch notes this week to say like, hey, I haven't put out a video in a couple weeks. Maybe I'll do one on patch notes. And then I look at the patch notes. I'm like, yeah, that'll be like 2 minutes.
Yeah, there's not a whole
Right.
lot there. There's not a whole
in
lot
there.
there.
They did fix a lot of issues. just glancing at this. But it does seem that they have some new arrivals, the Star Trailblazers, the Carrier Encrypted Transport Container, the Star of Trailblazers. That's basically the box that you can get a CNC in. There you go. You buy the keys, do the exchange, and after 60 keys, you get a guaranteed CNC. So there is that, and they do talk about that in that. I just basically summed it up for you. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Trigger word container. They updated the market like usual. Then they have some bug fixes. They had the Star Iristar and Diva encrypted safe have been removed. As a result, the rates for the are changed. So I guess they were having some crazy behavior. You guys losing me again?
Yep.
You were cutting out. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So weird.
Do you have?
What a night.
Wait. Let's go down. Let's go down the Rambo checklist. Do you have a thunderstorm?
No, actually, hold on. It is raining. It is raining outside. Damn it.
Did you feed the hamsters that power your PC?
No, I didn't. Apparently, I didn't. Yeah. So, yet again, I have a storm happening. It's a winter storm. Did drizzle a little bit. Did sprinkle. But didn't think that was going to be an issue tonight. Maybe it's the cloud cover disrupting my internet.
We did have another patch note that happened back on 1.3 where they did this weird thing. They called it a balance update, but it was to regulate market activities and lessens the negative effects of bad assets on the economy. The following limitations are being implemented for users who have received penalties due to violations resulting in liabilities but have not met the criteria for a ban. They're punishing the corporations who have a lot of people like that. Did you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just heard it cut out.
Where you said to fix bad ass on the market. I was like, wait, what did they say?
Yeah. Violators will be prohibited from jettisoning items such as ore. The bounty from repelling pirates and encounters reward earned by the violators will not be affected by corporation tax and will be used to pay the fine. And corporations that have been banned due to having a large number of violators cannot rent new corporation offices. So they can shut down your corp essentially if you have too many people doing bannable offenses or market activities that are not quite bannable but close. That's how they're going to punish violators of EULA, whatever the regulations are. I don't know what kind of activity this is. Do you guys know? I don't know what kind of activity this is.
I think I knew, but I forgot.
I think it's playing without buying AUR.
That's what it is. Some dirty rat didn't buy R this week, and therefore...
Uh-oh.
That was about it. The 1.9 update, the 1.10 update, I mean, didn't have anything other than the market transaction valuation stuff updated. That's it. And then we're up to the one this last week from 1.17, which was the one Rambo just covered. That is it on the patch notes. There's really nothing else there.
I barely even covered it. I kept breaking up.
Yeah.
I said one thing.
Yep.
They fixed a bunch of issues. How about that?
Exactly.
You probably already know it. How about that? So.
They did fix.
Is there? I don't think there's anything really else as far as Eve Echo's news.
The in-space barrier was fixed. That was a big thing too, and it was weird how they worded it because when I first read it, I didn't pick up on that. And then someone said something about it, and I went back and read it again, and it's like, oh, that is what that means. And by the way, if you're talking in the chat channel for the live podcast instead of chatting on-air chat, nobody's reading that. We can't see it, and no one's going to notice. But I see there's 4 messages over there, and someone typing saying, oops. That's the last time I'm looking. It's got to be in the on-air chat.
Yeah, rip.
Yep, on-air chat, where we've been chatting this whole time. There we go. Thank you, Doris. But no,
I think my wife needs to buy me a new computer with better Wi-Fi.
there you go.
Therefore, I can get better connection.
Yep. So yeah, no, in
I'm
space.
just gonna run a hard line.
That's what I have. I have a hard line. I just checked my connection a second ago when we were having all those issues, and I'm running at 980, 978 megs a second, almost a gig. Anyway, so yeah, in-space barrier is gone. No longer able to do that exploit inside of Seeing Dead, CTRs, any of that special stuff where you could just float way out and get away from everything. Oh, Allie's going to come in here and correct you, Rambo. She's going to tell you you're not going to get a computer. Allie's standing as Rambo's wife. She's typing right now. There it is.
Oh, yay! I get to go under the house again. Because that's a lot of fun.
Is that where your cables are, under the house?
Yeah, all the electrical that we, because we're doing the remodel, and freaking we had the all the wiring is underneath the house, and so freaking I had to hook up the add-on to the wiring, and so I was crawling underneath the house.
That's funny.
So I'm gonna have to do the same thing for an internet cable.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Most people when they anger their wives sleep on the couch. Rambo, in fact, has to go sleep underneath the house.
Underneath the house.
It's cold down there.
I bet it is.
Screw that.
I bet it is. All right. That was it on patch notes.
Shall we get to consider your suggestion?
Let's do it. Let's do consider your suggestion.
It's time to consider your suggestion. Oh man. There are a lot of suggestions on the Eve Echoes official Discord. You know what's actually kind of funny about this is I actually see screenshots of suggestions that get declined, and that it's not by Aurabot, but it's actually by the moderators who think they know the game better than anybody else. So I think that's kind of funny. I'm just gonna say it. It's pretty dumb.
The moderators are just, yeah.
They review every single one.
They're comical.
And if they don't agree with whatever your suggestion is, or if they find something that they have to chime in about, they'll decline it, and then they'll tell you in the reasoning. So if you ever get a suggestion that's declined, it's a moderator it's doing it. So one of the EE ones. You never know who it is, but all I know is it's a moderator.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to go to some random ones here. This one was from a few days ago. This one says, revive faction war games feature. It is impossible to find a match now. Change it every year or so. A new mode, bigger ships, anything. Just go back and do something about it. Don't abandon it like the public freight cargo delivery feature. No one uses it, and it's still in the market section. 34 upvotes.
You know, the sad thing is, this past week, it was either on Reddit or actually on the Discord itself, but I saw a player coming into the game, a new player transferring over from EVE Online, asking about faction warfare, and it was basically like, it doesn't even work, dude. You're going to be waiting for days for someone to actually get into the game. They told him to just capture the flag, and it was just sad to see, you know, someone legitimately excited to play the game. Like, no, these features that they have are dead.
Yeah. I see somebody trying to find a match the other day. They're chiming in about it in Alliance chat or something, like, dude, just give up. Don't even bother with it. Just, if you've been waiting 30 minutes already, just find something else to do, because it's not worth it. Not worth it.
No,
so here's an, and who knows if they're going to ever like revive that or bring it back at any capacity. I don't know. I don't really do it, so I don't really care. But those that did like that type of play style, then I suppose. But I thought that was Taylor Fox's like personal baby, you know, like he was working on that project, and then it was good for a while, and it kind of just died, and hasn't been good ever since. So Anyway.
What is this one that
Next.
Bernard posted?
Taylor.
Oh my god.
I found one from Taylor. Please make a toggle that turns off on the wallet notifications when a deposit or withdrawal happens at the corporation level. It is right over the top of the chat window. There are times it literally never goes away, meaning you lose access to it to the in-game chat.
100%. I'll agree with that.
When my builders go crazy, it's 30 minutes of, you know, 50,000, 150,000, 250,000.
But Taylor,
nonstop. You can't even use
Taylor, this is a CEO/officer problem, though.
It is.
Like, if you have those, like, okay, so for instance, in, you know, corporation industry transactions, those are going in and out all day. Then you have transactions from members, either donating, transferring ISK, doing whatever, missions, gate costs. Every time somebody uses your jump gate, you're watching your wallet change.
Yep.
And whatever else. And sometimes, like, you want to actually type into chat, and you go to click the window, and all of a sudden your wallet just appears, and you're clicking into your wallet now, and you're looking at that. I'm like, no, I didn't want that.
Just move it.
Right.
Move it up.
Or just turn it off.
Yeah, or turn it
I'm
off
okay
or move it up.
I'm okay with turning it off because I really don't need to see it. Yeah.
I don't even know what the point of seeing it is, to be honest with you.
Well,
why?
Turn off so I see this, and it's mostly for gate costs. Like, whenever I'm online, people are using the Ansplex gates that I'm seeing every time a freaking ship jumps. I'm like, well, I don't really need to see that. I don't really care.
Yep. Yeah, I've got 3 of them, for shit's sake. I don't...
You know, corporation industry, that's another thing. Like, okay, that was a hit. You know, you're seeing that type of stuff, and that's okay. That's something else. But really, for jump gate costs,
and it's more than just and keep in mind, it's more than just the CEO role. It's anybody who has wallet access to be able to build things, officers, things like that. So even out of a corp my size, it's still a lot of people. It's probably 20 people that could be online during that time. And there are days, you know, this isn't an average thing for most corporations, but there are days when we're lighting a good 180 ovens over and over again throughout the day. If you think that doesn't just, because it throws up a thing every time it gets a hit. So that's 180 times, and it does that slower than someone can actually go put stuff into the oven, but you see all of them. So there's a lag. You could be sitting there. So it's like 5-6 seconds every time one of those comes up. So
yeah,
it's a shit ton.
It does get kind of annoying, but you would think Eve Echoes 2024 we'd be able to turn that off, you know?
Yeah, or move it.
Some sort of toggle.
Just move it. If they moved it, if they literally just moved it up, you know, like 4 lines or 5 lines, it wouldn't be over the top of the chat where you hit the thing to go start typing in chat, and then it'd be fine. Then I could read through it as it's coming and going, and I could still chat or respond or whatever. So, yeah, exactly.
Honestly, though, where
else.
on the screen would you advise to move it anyway? Like
where the personal wallet one shows
left.
up. Yeah, like when bounties hit, put it there. Put it, over the top of your screen, up towards the middle. That's fine.
Yeah, either way, get it off of the chat box.
Mm-hmm.
I'll agree with you there.
Yep.
Only because I see it. Not everybody sees that, so I want to make that clear too. Like, the normal everyday member probably is not seeing the gate jump costs and you know, corp industry costs and all that stuff going through the wallet. So.
Sure.
All right, I clicked off the
now
suggestion.
Pending approval from a moderator.
Yeah. Here's a suggestion by Pooh Eater, had 38 upvotes. Add a default warp at. When you press on your ship, you'll have a button to set your default warp at distance, like a drone distance one. Then, when you press on an anomaly or something else, you'll have a new button labeled, let's say, warp at, which will warp you at the distance you set before. Since I have a ship that I use at 80 km, this will be very useful instead of constantly having to drag my finger perfectly at the 80 km mark. 38 upvotes.
Oh, so when you're selecting something to warp to, you just have a warp at that you've already set what that distance is, and it just so therefore you don't have to click warp drag to the 80 that you want. It's just doing that part for you automatically because you're that fucking lazy. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought at first, and this would actually be a good suggestion, is if you could just set a warp button that would just, and you could say how far, and you could just hit a button, and then you'd automatically warp in whatever direction you're going, like 1,000 kilometers.
How about a drop down?
Give me a warp.
How about a drop down? Like you click warp, and it gives you a drop down, and it'll say what distance, and you could 20, 40, 80. Or 100, right? So
right, but I mean, imagine how the grid would change if at any given moment you wouldn't have to try to find something to warp to. You could just warp 1,000 kilometers in the direction you're already aligned in. Think of how that would change the grid. People would be warping in and out. You'd be moving around. It'd be a much more dynamic grid than it already is. It's a very dynamic grid right now in fleet fights as it is. Don't get me wrong. That'd be interesting. That'd be an interesting mechanic.
In the game files, there is actually the micro jump drive, which is in the game files itself, which allows you to do a micro jump of I think 100 to 200 km from your current position.
Right, and that's a thing in EO. Yep, but there's also counters to that in EO as well that they don't have here yet either, and I'm not really sure. Yeah, it'd be an FC nightmare, Pubstar. Oh, I can just feel it now. I know, but. Again, I mean, so the other thing, though, that's in EO that counters to that is the ability to grab something and pull them right on top, pull them towards you. Not a grappler, but literally something that pulls them right towards you. Anyway. So those things kind of counter. You have some counterplay back and forth between those things, but they would have to introduce that.
All right. Fully support. I put a link to this one, and I fully support it. It has 41 upvotes from Flat Earth. Ibis Striker, please.
Wow.
We have a member in Corp who made a blue core for his Ibis, and whenever we would have PI thieves coming into our systems, he would pull that out and go and kill him with that.
Nice.
Shout out to Sleepy Gary. That's a great ship. It's hilarious.
All right. Here's another suggestion. This got 35 downvotes, not a single upvote. From Kun Tata. Since we can ride our POS to use its offensive mods, allow the POS to be used offensively like using other ships. Warp around, shoot, etc. If the shield armor is stripped, it can't move, but a player can undock from then until it's recovered again, and we'll have a timer like the usual POS.
Okay, so
a warping POS. That's interesting.
So first off,
can't say I've heard that one before.
Yeah. At first glance, this suggestion sounds like total shit. However, think about the implications if you could move your outpost around and use it like a reprocessing, compressing mobile manufacturing platform that you could move around, right? Like you could only anchor it while you're going to use it in that area where you're doing your industry or whatever else you're doing, and then there's a timer on it before you can unanchor it and move it again. So then it's stuck there for a little while, but then you can unanchor it and move it again. Maybe that version of that would be one that doesn't collect PI, but there is a version of something like that over in EO as well, by the way. That's where I'm kind of coming up with that idea. I think that'd be very interesting. I think that would, well, think about Cobalt Edge, right? How different would that be for Cobalt Edge to be able to do that kind of thing? Taking those minerals, compressing them or whatever, and getting the those particular PI anyway that drops from the rats and getting those out of there easy or something like that. I don't know. Just a thought. But so at first glance, that initial thought from that person sounds totally crazy and outlandish. However, yeah, like a scout pause, one that can actually be moved around. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting thought. If you really think about how you would implement it and what it would be used for, it's not that bad. Not that crazy.
All right. We'll cover this one. We'll end the segment. So this one was from William. I know I see this profile picture. I can't remember if he's a listener or not, but this suggestion was add the ship spinning counter like in EVE Online. So what's that mean?
How many times
What's
you
that?
sat there and spin your ship?
You've never done that?
How many times have you spun
When
your
you
ship?
sit in a station, and yeah, in EVE Online, you take your mouse and you spin your ship. Eventually, you'll actually get a counter that appears
Yep.
to count exactly how many times you're
Oh,
spinning your ship around.
So ship spinning is like an actual thing that people do as an activity.
Uh-huh.
I thought ship spinning was like that's what you called somebody that was docked. They're just sitting there ship spinning, even though they're
No, it's
logged
an actual
in.
activity. It's an
They're
actual activity.
docked.
And if they did that, I would also want to add that they literally put in like your corp. You know how you get your corp notifications when you go to that page and you see like who, you can just scroll and see who died, who's gotten kill mails, who's died that day. There should be like a wall of shame there for who got the highest number of ship spins today.
Yeah. Have a community leaderboard. How many ship spins?
That could be an event.
Inscription.
Actually. Yeah.
Inscription of the galaxy ship spinning.
Oh Lord.
Okay. I didn't know that was an actual thing.
Yeah, that's an actual thing.
I didn't.
Yeah.
So if you spin your ship in the station, then it ticks a counter and you can actually see it somewhere. Okay, that's interesting.
That's perfect decibel.
All right. Okay, we'll call that the end of consider your suggestions. So those are pretty good. I do enjoy coming back to those. I didn't really get any salty ones this time around, but they're probably coming.
There was one.
Did you catch it or no? I didn't see it.
I can bring it back up. I honestly thought it was from Vetemune. Sorry, Vetemune, but it wasn't. And it has 26 downvotes and 4 upvotes. It was on the 17th. It's from Bornfish Born. It says decrease all the large and capital-sized weapons tracking. Decreasing big ships turret tracking will help make the game balance more healthy. How is it allowed to hit a target which is moving 800 milliseconds with Afterburner with large beam lasers and about 5 question marks after that?
Because you're only going 800. What the hell are you flying, an Ibis?
I've come to realize that Fishborn, he's just 24/7, always salty about something in the game. So I probably just skipped right past it.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh God, there's a screenshot.
Yep.
800 is pretty
Get
slow.
Good.
Bornfish, 800 is really slow. Now, if you said 8,000, okay, we'd probably have a conversation. But
All
I
right.
don't think anything's hitting like that. So go for it. Sorry.
Though I did see something today. Was posted on Reddit. Was an article about some guy quitting EVE Echoes, and the reason behind it was the previous update had broken the AI core, and so something in the logic had broke the core, and now it destroyed a ship, and he's fighting with customer service, and he's gotta compensate the ship first, and then they reimburse. It's like this whole thing, right? The very first comment was Captain Benzie. Yep, he's still in the community. Echoes_Eve, trying to poach people into coming over to EVE Online. I'm like, really? You're still at it? You haven't been playing EE for however long? Literally got removed from the content creators chat, or left, I guess. But
on his last comment in the CC chat, I was like, I thought you left this game, dude. Why are you here?
He's just
and
salty
yet
as
he
shit.
He continues to try and convince people to go over to EVE Online.
But
sure, I don't care.
Make the argument, if you're using the AI core, are you really playing the game?
Nope.
No, you're just making ISK for I don't know why. To make you're making ISK so you can make ISK faster.
It's for
do
elite
nothing else.
PvP.
Yeah.
Dude, the only reason AI is for elite PvP. When I do my YouTube videos and I roam enemy space and I go and I die and I use all these cheap ships, it's my AI that's funding the entire thing. So I mean, that's content creator mentality, of course.
Yeah. Is what it is. All right. That was consider your suggestion. What's next on the docket, gentlemen?
Let's hit them with the highlights of the night. I want you to break the news. Break the news of what we found coming up in the game.
All right. So, breaking news. This was something that was shared with me just a few days ago, and I'm going to start posting images directly into the chat. So, be watching the on-air chat right now. These are new ships that are coming into the game really, really soon. And by really, really soon, I mean, like, could be by, these are faction dreadnoughts, if you want to call them, but they're Lancers. This could be as soon as, here's the one I meant to poke, could be as soon as the Chinese New Year. All four of them, all the Lancers that were introduced into EVE Online last year, it was just last year that they got introduced, they're now coming to EVE Echoes. This stuff is actually already in the game code. It's already on, some of it is already on the Fulmination server. I got into one and flew it today. I've got a fittings that I laid out for it, and it's not on my phone. It's on my iPad, which is not here. So, shit. I posted it somewhere else, so I'll grab it real quick. Anyway, so long story short, you can call them faction dreads if you want to, but these things are different. These are not a dreadnought version of a VAC. These are not really faction dreads either, pub stars. These things can put a Lancer on. They don't have a siege mode. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that what we're seeing so far of them in the game is maybe not completely finished, right? Like there's probably going to be some changes between what we're seeing in the code right now and some of these stats and what's actually going to be in the game. And here's the number one reason why. Well, there's two reasons why I say that, but here is the number one reason why I say that. If I go full DPS on, because it has 4 high slots, so if I go full DPS on a Carrara, which is the Phoenix variant of this Lancer, and I put 4 torps in the high slots, and I put nothing but damage mods in the rigs, and I go nuts with a warhead charge at 45, level 45. My DPS output is going to make you cry. Here's what that looks like. That DPS output is pathetic. That's cold, docked, but it doesn't get over 10k when it's in space. Warhead charge, all that. Change to EM. Like, it's really sad.
So 5,700 DPS on this thing.
Cold. Yeah, there's no siege mode, so you don't get those bonuses in siege mode like you would for a
Right.
dreadnought. Right now, maybe that's coming, but I think actually they won't do that because instead, look at this fit. This is more akin to what they're going for. That thing you see is not a burst projector, by the way. That's one of the 4 variations of the Lancers, right? That does damage.
One of the high slots.
Yeah, one of the 4 high slots is going to be taken by that. You can only install one of them. That does damage, but it also does a number of E-War things to it. And that E-War stuff is crazy. The damage of that, by the way, is a 20-second, very large beam. It lasts for 20 seconds, and you can fire it again 1 second later. The only problem with that is it uses 100% of the fuel in your freaking that you have a full fuel load of 5.2 million gigajoules in this thing, and it's gone. So it's a one-shot guy. It's going to use all your fuel. It's one shot, but
fuel prices are going up.
The oh shit button.
It's 100,000
That's your
DPS over 20 seconds, though.
No, I get that, but it seems like
Alert AOA. Alert AOA.
that seems to me like the oh shit button, because if you do use this in combat, how are you jumping out?
You won't be able to move. If you
Right.
use that, you're not moving. You have no flight bonuses. You're not moving.
You're gonna have to go through gates. You're dead.
Yeah. So here's the
Yeah.
other thing with I'm trying to find the screenshot that I have for that. Damn it.
That would be a fucking great idea. I'm sorry. I just thought of something. I thought.
Go for it.
Sorry.
Go for it. Go ahead and say it while I'm looking for it.
Introduce these ships. Introduce kind of like a fax, but basically a refueling ship.
Oh yeah, put a jump freighter next to it. You bet. I thought about that too. Seriously, gotta have like a jump freighter sitting next to it to keep it fueled, so you can just keep firing the fucking thing. That was one of the things I thought too.
Yeah, and I have a jump freighter next to me cloaked as I mine in my coveter. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, here's the bonus. Here's the E-War bonuses that here I'm gonna post it here in just a second. I need to crop that out. Sorry, I should have been a little bit more. I thought I had my other device. If I had my other device, this would be a little
That's
faster.
what I'm saying. Like a ship with a special fuel hole, right?
Yeah.
And kind of like how you have a special module that allows you to link to that ship, so you can constantly, like how you're charging capacitor, that you're charging their fuel tank.
That aside,
Okay,
there's
so you
the other
posted
things
this-
that it does on top of all that damage. Your enemy's flight velocity gets cut in half. Their shield booster gets cut by 30%. Their armor repair effect gets cut by 30%. Their turret's damage gets cut. Their missile torp damage gets cut. Their fighter damages get cut. All that kind of stuff. Status of yourself, 120
Purgatory
seconds.
Thermal Annihilator.
Yeah,
that's
there's
the name of this mod.
well, there's 4 different ones.
This
There's
Hyslop.
Yeah, there's 4 different ones. They all have the exact same E-War effects, but they have slightly different damage types and slightly different damage amounts. So one of them looks like the engine burst thing, and they have different damage types. So obviously you've got one that's kinetic. This one I think is kinetic. Then they've got one that's explosive, one that's thermal, one that's EM, right? So there's 4. And this is part of what I mean by I don't think they're done with it yet. Number one, they're using the same graphics you see for an engine burst that don't make a whole lot of sense. That's the radar guidance engine burst icon. They've got this weird item name thing there, and it doesn't actually show what the true DPS is. And they all have the exact same E-War profile. So I don't think that's right either. And also how you build them isn't in the code yet either. So there's going to be some changes to this. Don't take all of this as being this is exactly how it's going to get rolled out. This is just the start of it, and it's coming. My guess is it's going to come before the Chinese New Year, which would be February 10th. So sometime between now and February 10th, we could get these. And whatever's on the server, on the Fulmination server, which is where some of this is at, where I got that fitting put together. That doesn't, again, that could be a month behind where they're actually at on their development. So it doesn't, don't take it as the final version. This is what they're going to look like. But to me, I see them right now as just being very tanky, high DPS E-War. That'll overcome the E-War restrictions anyway that like a super has right now, right? So a super can overcome a lot of stuff E-War wise, but was it negative 90% of that? But I bet this is going to override that. I bet these will override that. So you'll be able to target a super with this and hit it, is my guess.
So before February 10th, what you're saying is we'll probably see it on the Chinese server next week.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, well, yeah,
maybe.
Probably could see it soon. I'm fine with them releasing things over onto the Chinese server first, screwing around with it, seeing what works, what doesn't, and then rolling it out here and us having fewer problems if that's where it comes out to. If that's how it ends up working, I'm fine with that. I'm okay. I mean, the Chinese server even tell everybody they're the test server, so I'm cool with that. It's a giant blue donut over there. It's worse than it is here, so whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is that about all that you got as far as info when it comes about these Lancers?
Yeah, there's 4 of them, all 4 variations. If you go and look on EVE Online's info about it, I think we have a link, and it even has some videos of what these things look like that I put in our chat. I could share that here too, and you guys could see it and go look at it. Just know that that's one version of it. Or that's the version of it in EO anyway. Yeah, here it is. I'll copy and paste it over. Could change a little bit. could be a little different, but that is it in a nutshell. Oops.
Interesting. Yeah, I have no idea what Lancers are. So if it's is it similar to a VAC, as in like the Dreadnought variant, or is this just a completely different level of ship?
It's just a different level of Dreadnought. It's a different level of Dreadnought. I'm going to assume that in order to build the Carrara, which is the Phoenix version, that you're going to need a Phoenix plus extra materials, extra things to build it. So I think from that standpoint, it'll be like a VAC for how they're built. But I don't, because I mean, that's how they're going with everything. And I'm imagining we're going to need materials out of Cobalt Edge too, whether that's gas or the fullerene stuff, or it's the PI. I don't know, but I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess moving forward, more and more and more stuff is going to use that. It's armor, the Rev 1's armor.
Okay.
They use
Good deal.
now how they're in there. They use the proper armor versus shield that they should, and they have the proper bonuses that you would think they would. The Bane.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, because didn't some of the Navy ships, which you would think were missile bonuses, like the Navy Rattlesnake doesn't have missile bonuses, right?
Right. No, the Rev gets laser bonuses.
No, I'm saying is like with the Navy ships that came out, right?
Right.
It was the same thing. You thought you would get them bonuses for certain things, but you didn't. So hopefully these ones will.
No, Rakagear is asking why the Rev gets missile bonuses. It doesn't. It gets a Rev. Yeah, maybe an EO it does, but not on what I've seen so far here. It gets lasers here. So far, they could change that. I don't know. They could screw that up. But right now, all 4 of those ships get the bonuses you would think they would. The Bane, which is the Revelation version, gets lasers. The Moros gets rails. The Carrara gets missiles. And the Hubris gets, which is the Moros, gets rails. And the Valravan. And right now, if you look at the models that are in EO and then go back and look at the models that I can see anyway on Fulmination server, they're not the same. So right now on the Fulmination server, they look identical to their actual other ships. You can't tell the difference by looking at them. That'll change. I'm sure that'll change. They won't leave those the same. That'll change. Just like maybe it'll be small, maybe it'll be a different looking skin over it or whatever else, but it'll change. Right now they're identical. You can't tell them apart. I don't know.
All right.
I'm saying that these things, though, Pubstar, the way these are worked out is I would only put in the one high slot the one Lancer that you want, and the other 4 high slots I'd probably be putting barrels in, and I'd be doing something with tracking so that it can just peel off anything small next to it, and that's all it's going to do, because its DPS isn't high enough to give a shit about anything else. Doesn't matter what implant you have. So it's going to have barrels on it. If it stays the way it is right now. But we'll see. Things could change.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's the first. You went right where I went too with that one, Damon. With how much fuel it is, it's one shot and all your fuel's gone. They really do need to institute some sort of. Yeah, you really do need to institute some sort of logistics ship that can be part of a fleet, not a jump freighter. Give us as a jump freighter now, because it's got no low slots, it's got no resists, it's a sitting duck.
Well, you have your fuel bay. What if you had a weapon fuel bay, and it just uses the fuel from that, and not from your inventory or from your jump drive? I guess you could say so.
Just give me a logistics ship, like a true logistics ship, not a healer. It could be capital wise. That's fine. Make it tanky, make it slow. But have a huge capacity to be able to, dump out stuff for people to refuel. Dump out boxes. Or refuel, you've got remote capacitors. You've got remote shield boosters. You got remote armor links, shield fields. Put out one that fuels your ship. A module that just sends fuel from one hangar bay directly to your hangar bay. then you can feel that way. I don't know, something.
All right.
Which capital logistics?
We'll call it at that. All right. Continuing on.
Yep.
What happened with the Jita race that we were supposed to be doing this last weekend, but had to postpone it?
Yeah.
I think that was for a number of reasons. Did have lack of signups and also availability as far as timing goes.
Yeah.
Might have to go back to the drawing boards as far as timing, as to see when more people are available to be able to do such a race. But I think a lot of people too were hesitant on it, as it's, I don't know why necessarily, because it was in high sec, so it's not like you're going to be losing your ship. So I was kind of curious as to why.
Well, we didn't have enough racers signed up. I think my threshold for a minimum number was like 8, and I didn't really want to get more than 20. We didn't hit the 8 number. We didn't even get close to that. We had 2 signed up. I think the 2 things that really hit it were the timing of when it was announced, how much time we had to get people signed up, how much time we had to really push it, no show in between any of that time. And then also it's 2 weekends, right? Whatever. We did that before and we had plenty of people, so I don't think that's that big of a deal. But I think the bigger deal overall, from my feedback that I got from players who talked to me about it, DM'd me about it, well, it's just a high sec race. We're just going to be flying around in loops. We're just going to be jumping gate to gate to gate. Where's the fun in that? Like, can we just, like, what about null sec? Everybody kept asking me about null sec, which is what our first race was. And I think our first race was a big success, even though it was just inside of the Fed, even though it was just a silent Fed race. I think it was a huge success. So I think we need to revisit that. I think we probably need to lay out the track ahead of time and just tell people this is the track, get people excited about what that's going to look like, and then maybe not even do a qualifier, just do one race. That's it. And everybody knows the track
to
up
the
front.
death.
Race to the death. It's one track up front. Good luck. Good luck navigating it properly. But here you've had weeks to look at the track and try to run it. But everybody else knows it too,
right.
And it's null sec and low sec, right? You have to go in and out, make it super dangerous, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
I do kind of agree. The timing behind it was pretty bad, coming off the holidays. And then, of course, you and I have been busy as well. We haven't had any real shows to be able to promote the race and all that. So, coming up, we do want to do this type of stuff. We have dedicated channels, and we have people that are interested in assisting us, do all the background, the back end stuff of it. So, we'll get something going. It's just going to be a little bit more delayed now as we rethink some things. So, but yeah, with it coming out of the holidays, and then now it's starting to get into the Chinese New Year type stuff. Though, how much will that affect us? As far as in-game stuff, I don't know, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah, we will. And we'll do
and
trivia.
So the other thing, yeah, and not to mention the other types of events that are going to be ongoing throughout the year. The trivia that Taylor does. Heck, we can even bring back the game shows and such on the show here too. I mean, I still have a sponsor for a Who Wants to Be a Billionaire episode. I have a full game show ready to play right now. It's just we just haven't done it yet. So like I have ISK to give away and everything.
Right.
Just kind of waiting for a time to be able to do that, which we could do that pretty much any other time, I honestly. So, but before we close it out, I did want to mention one thing as well, and this is just what I've been hearing. And what's this whole thing about the Chinese and the gambling ban? Have you been hearing about this?
Yeah. I mean, so far, I don't think that's going to really affect anything too much on our end of things. Will it soften up NetEase's stance on the gacha game stuff? I don't know. I see it as a good thing so far. I haven't read anything that tells me that it's going to be an adverse effect on us. I think it's only going to be a good thing on us. If we see any
what
changes
I have
at all.
heard, So yeah, they're implementing laws that are going to decrease the chances of gambling addicts and games and all, gotcha type stuff. Them taking money from people basically, in that aspect. But I did hear that it's only going to be for the Chinese games. For the worldwide stuff, it's probably going to be the same. So,
which is probably why they introduced you buying, AUR and stuff like that through a website out of the game instead of in the game now.
Yep. You can do things through Discord, so therefore it doesn't account towards all of that. So that's why I see them doing a little bit more on the Discord side of things like that. Yep.
Well, I'm still not going to type 150, 200 messages in their general chat. So you're not going to make me.
They got to get over themselves with that. That's just kind of silly.
You need the beta clone to get a whopping 5,000 SP.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And doing that is sending like 50
As I wave
messages in the general chat every day.
I flail my arms.
Whatever.
Yeah. You get rewarded for being a Discord warrior and chatting with the community on the official Eve Echoes Discord.
Yeah.
Great. Nope. Not me. I muted that channel straight up. I muted a majority of the EE Discord.
Yeah. I mean, I'll still talk over it every once in a while, but it's not. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. You know how much chatting I do in every other damn server I'm in? I'm in so many servers as it is. I don't have time for that. Even as a content creator, I don't have time for that level of engagement there. Now, maybe someone like Jubilis or one of the other guys that's not involved in like their alliance level stuff. It isn't a CEO, and all they're doing is like Hail. All they're doing is that kind of stuff. That'd be great for them. That's good. Let them go and do that. Let them go and be helpful that way. That's not my role. Poor Juby. He lost his outpost. Yeah. Lawan here blew it up.
Rip.
I
thought Juby was a PvPer. Why does he have outposts?
I don't know. Now, you make money off PI, but yeah, I don't know. He's wasting skills.
Right? Anyhow.
I don't have PI skills.
We're gonna close it out.
Yep, we're done.
We're gonna close it out. Guess what, Taylor? I didn't make a new outro yet. It's on the plans.
That's okay.
So we're gonna cover our officially highlighted sponsored content creators. Go ahead, Taylor.
Oh shit! Well, they are Jubilees. He's one of them. Ashived is another one as well. And of course, Damon Zell, who's here with us live tonight. Damon, thanks for being with us as always. Latour Tassadar, Kawari is one of those as well. I'm trying to think of who else here. Who have I forgotten about? Hale. I did mention Hale. Hael. He has a fantastic channel. He's what I would consider to be the new Benzie. Go and it's actually good stuff. So go watch. And I meant that. I guess that's a bad thing to say. I won't call him new Benzie. That's horrible. That's so bad. But anyway, yeah, go for it. Good stuff over there. Watching him. Go subscribe to all of those guys. Follow them. Keep up with them. And then when you come here to talk with us, you'll see where they get all their content.
Right? You heard it here first, folks.
That's right.
Heard it here first. So I just want to thank everybody for attending tonight and listening to the show. Those that follow us on Twitch, thank you. Subscribe to that channel if you have not. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check that out. Watch our previous episodes as well. And we'll see you next week. Fly safe out there. Thanks, Damon. Thanks, Taylor. And hopefully I'll have some more reliable... Hopefully I'll have some better, reliable internet for you guys next week.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right, take care.
See you guys.
Rolling